I had to do a little tribute to Martin Luther King, right? So let's talk about some things, maybe some things you didn't know. But Martin Luther King Day became a federal holiday in 1986. His father, MLK Sr., was a pastor, and his mother, Alberta Williams King, was a former school teacher. This is from History.com. It was not his intentions to follow his father's footsteps, but he changed his mind under the mentorship of Morehouse's president, Dr. Benjamin Mays, an influential theologian and outspoken advocate for racial equality. After graduating in 1948, King entered Crozer Theological Seminary in Pennsylvania. Good old Pennsylvania, where he earned his Bachelor of Divinity degree and was elected president of his predominantly white senior class. Let's talk about the bus boycott. The bus boycott lasted about 381 days. And on his 13th arrest, he was denied access to his lawyers and his wife until President John F. Kennedy was urged to intervene on his behalf. King was not immediately bailed out of jail by his supporters, having instead agreed to a longer stay in jail to draw additional attention to the plight of Black Americans. And while he was in there, he wrote some prominently things, some sayings and stuff like that. He wrote, "Justice too long delayed is justice denied. Injustice anywhere is a threat to injustice everywhere." And what he did was, there were some prominent preachers back then, white and Jewish, that said something to him, and they were said that he shouldn't do it. It was unpopular and stuff like that. So he had wrote his speech while in jail, one of his speeches in jail. But he was released on April 20th. Now, he spent 9 days in jail, but then they had a children's crusade 2 weeks later. More than 1,000 school children skipped school to march through the city streets advocating for integration and racial equality. Eugene Connor ordered fire hoses and police dogs, and more than 600 people were jailed. 1964, he was the youngest person to receive the Nobel Peace Prize at 35. December 5th, 1955, Rosa Parks was to appear in court. She was arrested December 1st. At that time, more than 75% of the bus riders were Black, approximately 40,000. December 20th, 1956, ruling went into effect that Blacks could sit anywhere. Interesting thing about Rosa Parks was she was sitting in the Black section. I don't know if some people know, but at that time, they said if all the white section were filled up, then Blacks had to move back, and she wasn't trying to move back. But it was interesting because desegregation was met. This is from Ducksters.com. Desegregation was met with great violence. Several buses were shot at. Black leaders' homes and churches were bombed. We know the bombing of the 4 girls in the church. A bomb was placed at Martin Luther King House and was defused. Several members of the white supremacist group, the Ku Klux Klan, were eventually arrested for setting bombs, upon which the violence, for the most, died down. And at that time, the bus boycott, 61% of the Black population thought it was unpopular, he should do something else. But really, they was only going to bus boycott for one day. And at that time, they had made Martin Luther King the president, and he decided that they go. Now, we got to understand that, people want to know the reason why, Martin Luther King got a holiday. It's because of how he did it, non-violently. And when he challenged, the white clergy, and then they came down and, they came to help out. But it's also, people don't understand, when people be on that, they be on this like Black power, and they want to do things by themselves. But see, Martin Luther King knew that, we needed those individuals from other ethnicities to come help us, what I'm saying? And people look at it, even some of those angry white supremacists even killed, whites as well that were helping out, and that's what we got to get back to. You know, because think about it. Yeah, we in a racist country right now, but watch this. It was more racist back then, and he got his own holiday. And see, we got to look at that. You know what I'm saying? We just got to continue doing things, just like he said. And, you know, looking at today, you know, there's a way that, you know, even with this government shutdown, that the churches can just feed their sheep. You know what I'm saying? Well, feed sheep. That's what he was telling, what Jesus told them. And this is a time that we can do that, you know what I'm saying? But just going back to nonviolence and doing it the right way. And a lot of people, you know what I'm saying, you have the, you know, even in when I was reading on history.com, it talked about how the younger generation, the radicals, were kind of upset, didn't want to do it the way Martin Luther King said, and it seemed like it's the same thing again. But, you know, we got to get back to just doing it nonviolently and doing things right. And, you know, at that time, you know, some important facts about the bus boycott. That I didn't know, but, you know, I thank God for looking it up. You know, at that time, the average fare was 45 cents for a taxi. And so what happened was the blacks had came together and the people that had taxis, they allowed the taxi fare to be 10 cents, just like the bus fare was. What was interesting that the government got upset and they imposed fines up to like $500. And also, you had the people that, you know, when they were insuring the taxis, they said, well, if you're going to carpool like that, we're not going to insure you. So how the government going to do that? And how the folks going to get mad? Because black people just trying to help each other out. Also, too, you know, the black churches, you know what they did? Those that had to walk to work, they actually took the money and they bought them and you know, replenished shoes and things like that. I'm telling you, we get back to that, this world will change. And I think with the fact of Trump being president, this allows us to see that it's time to wake up. We got a lot to do, but you know what? We just got to continue going the right way. We got to follow the correct leaders that we have in place or that are going to be in place. Put people in position, doctors, lawyers. We know everybody might not be athletes and everything, but they have their place too. Veterinarians, judges, you know what I'm saying? All of that, you know what I'm saying? Professors, that's what we got to do. You know what I'm saying? We get together and we got to understand that we're not going to do it by ourselves. There's going to be Asians that come, there's going to be Chinese, you know what I'm saying? There's going to be whites, Mexicans, Latinos, you know what I'm saying? Whoever is going to come and help out. And that's what we got to do as people, you know what I'm saying? We get back to that, then, you know, we can still continue to, you know what I'm saying, live his dream. Because, see, they couldn't kill the spirit, they just killed the body. But that's why his words still ring today. That's why, you know, he got his own holiday. That's why we still celebrate him. And even people say how it is, you know, and I just thank God, you know, how back then, I did you know, an essay on Martin Luther King and I had won. So just grateful for that. But just wanted to tell, just say a little bit about that. But it was interesting that, you know, those facts that I found out about the bus boycott, not knowing that the government really got mad and tried to impose fines. That's childish. But as always, love y'all. God bless.